Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. In this video, I am revisiting my 12 of 12 project. So the last video that I put on YouTube, I got a lot of questions about my workflow, but especially how I made the collage and how I put those photos into the collage. And so I thought that I would do a video that would hopefully answer your questions. And the best way I knew how to do that is just to get on my computer into Lightroom and show you exactly how I do it. So I do have a video or two on my blog that show you how I create the collage in Lightroom, but I thought it would be good to do a complete walkthrough of my workflow so you can see how I go ahead and choose my photos, to editing my photos, and then getting those photos into the collage. So you are forewarned, this is a little bit longer a video. In fact, I think it's a little bit over an hour. So I hope you have some time to kick back and enjoy this video. I do give you a lot of tips and tricks about how I chose my photos, but also how I take some of those photos. And of course in my editing, and then just how easy it is to put all of those photos into a collage and get them printed or else get them on the internet. So hope you guys enjoy. All right, so I am in my Lightroom and I will just briefly let you know what I've done so far. So I've imported my photos. You can see over on the side here under my folders that I organize everything by the year and then the month. So I've got 2018 and then I have a folder for January, and then I have all of the days here so you can see all of the days of the photos that I've taken thus far. So the reason why some of these, like this January 11th is up here at the top, it's because these photos are unedited. Once they're edited, I rename the folders and then it will jump down into this spot. So they're edited, and then I've got keyword tags. If you're using Lightroom, I would definitely suggest using those keyword tags. But that's how I've set it up. And the other thing that I did, so like I said, I just imported my photos. The other thing that I went ahead and did is I just changed the name of my photo here. So at first I've got the year, so 2018, then 01 is the month, and then 12 is the day, obviously, underscore, then I have 12 of 12 January, and then I just have the sequence of numbers behind it. So that's how. I don't always do it that way. I do always have the date and then a name. Sometimes I just keep the number that came from the camera, and sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends on my mood, I guess. So that's how I went ahead and did it this time. So these are all the photos that I took throughout the day. I just want to let you know that I've got down here, you should be able to see that I have 218 photos. It also shows up here. So I took 218 photos that day. That is pretty typical for me with the 12 of 12, although there has been times where I've taken like 60. So it just depends on the day and what's going on. There was actually a lot going on that day, so I had a significant number of photos. So I want to show you in real time exactly how I'm working on my photos and organizing my photos. So I didn't show you the import and then changing the name, but I definitely do that at the beginning. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to hit Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac. Make sure I've got one of the photos highlighted. It's going to highlight everything, and then I'm just going to do the keyword of 12 of 12. Because that way, if I'm ever looking for a photo with the 12 of 12, it'll show up. Sometimes I will go more detailed where I would, I'm going to hit Control D, and that's going to deselect everything. But I will just click on these ones of me up at the top, and I can then go in and hit AG is something I use for myself, or selfie, if I can get it spelled correctly. Then that one's in there as well. So these are the tags that I can use to find any photos of myself. Sometimes I go ahead and do that right away. Sometimes I wait. Sometimes I forget and I don't do it. So it's totally up to you how you want to do it. Sometimes also I'm going to hit Control. I could hit Control A, and oftentimes I'll put the tag every day. But I feel like a lot of my photos are everyday photos, so I've kind of stopped doing that. So I could also highlight Bella, shift click on the last photo, and then I could just hit Bella there, and then these photos would come up anytime I'm looking for photos of Bella. All right, so a couple of things I just want to talk to you guys about while I'm looking at the photos. When I take self-portraits, and there's some down here, so you can see there's quite a number of self-portraits. When I take self-portraits of myself, I tend to take a lot more because I really have no idea if they're going to work out or not. So I tend to take a little bit more. So that way, when I walk away from the situation, I don't look back and think, oh my gosh, none of them worked out. There tend to get one or two that end up working out. So that's why I always end up taking a little bit more when it comes to self-portraits. You can see again, more self-portraits, and I'm going to just highlight these and hit AG and selfie. Same with these ones. And let's see, anything else I wanted to really explain with these photos. So one of the things that I did want to mention when it comes to documenting the 12th of every month, I've had friends ask me if I specifically make appointments or create things on the 12th to make the day more exciting. And I don't. I don't do anything like that. I let the day be organic as possible. Let's say all of my family was on a trip but me and I am home alone. That's totally fine. I will still document that day because I think the day is worth documenting. If the day is totally busy and we're out of town, I still document the day and use it as the 12th. So I don't try and make anything more special than it already is. I just let life go. If if the only day that friends can meet is the 12th, then I let it happen. If that's a day that works out to meet with friends, then I schedule on the 12th. But I don't intentionally not do things and I don't intentionally do things. I just let it, like I said, let it happen organically like I would any other day. And then I just document that day. All right, so back to my editing process or my workflow. So the first thing that I do, after I've done some of my tagging and some of my keywords, I go through all of my photos and I look for the best photos. And I'm not looking for necessarily the photos that I think are going to go into the collage, but I'm looking for the best photos. And like you're looking at here, I've got this 7 photos of me exercising. So I'll probably pick one of those photos. These photos of my daughter getting ready, I'll probably pick one of those photos, maybe one of these, just so I have a variety. And also because when I go back to these photos in the future, I might use one of these photos for something else if they don't make it into the collage. Maybe I'll do a separate story about that photo. So I'll always pick the best ones, even if I'm not thinking, I'll pick definitely more than 12. I'm going to guess maybe with 218, maybe I'll pick 30 or something like that. We'll see how many photos I end up choosing from this mix. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I'll probably put on some music unless I have something that I want to share. I want these photos to be a little bit bigger so I can see them better. So I'm going to hit Control or Command if you're on a Mac. And then I'm just going to go up with my scroll. And then I'm just going to start at the beginning. And one of the things that I will do as well, I'll highlight a photo and I'll hit X, and you can see right here it makes an X on a flag, which is I'm rejecting this photo. I don't want this photo. I will end up deleting this photo later, or I will hit a pick. So I'll come down and I'll think, oh, this is pretty good. I'll hit pick. And that's the one that, I'll end up wanting to keep. This one I'll probably X as well. To be fair, I am very brutal when it comes to editing my images because I do not like to keep more photos than I need to. So I'll probably X that one as well. I just don't my photos are so large. I try and free up as much space as possible. And I've just learned over the years that I don't need to keep more than that. Trying to decide. I do this pretty quickly, I feel like, and you can see how these are all very similar. So I'm just going to delete these other 2. And I tend to always take more than one photo, except for, let's say, this closet, I only took one. I usually take more than one just because you never know. Sometimes a file becomes corrupted or something's not, you focused wrong or something like that. If I don't know, I want to see that up a little bit closer, I'm going to go back to my library here, and it's going to show me my grid mode. You can get back to it by hitting G on your keyboard, or if you hit D and you're selected on a photo, it's going to show that photo close up. And now I'm in the development module. You could also do that. I'm going to hit G again and go back to the grid. You could also do that with E, and it's going to show you you're not in the development module, but you're in here where you could add keywords and things like that. So sometimes I want to see these a little bit more close up. I kind of like that one as well. So I think I will highlight that. Right now, I'll probably just leave that one. All right, so down here, and I will explain a little bit about what was going on. So I sat down on my bed and was doing a little, I think I was on my phone looking at some stuff. And then my daughter came in. This was Friday the 12th, and obviously the 12th. And we didn't have school that day because our semester ended. So there was no school that day. So my kids were off, and I was on my computer, and then my daughter showed up. And because my camera was set up, and I'll just explain right here, I just set my camera on my bed. And someone had asked me about this, like, how do I know where to focus? And what I end up doing is I'll put something right where I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sitting. So I think I took maybe the drink here that was in this photo and set it right there. I focused on that, and then I pushed my camera to manual focus so that when I pushed the button, it wouldn't refocus. And then I moved the glass out of the way, or the container out of the way, and then I just sat in place. That way I could take a picture, lean up, hit the button on my camera again, and sit back. So it was really easy to actually take this picture. Well, while I was doing this, my daughter showed up, and so I thought it would be fun to get a couple of her in there. You can see I only got one of myself, and I'll probably delete that one. I'll probably delete this one. Oops. I just hit G to go back to the grid. And then we were just chatting. And then she was being silly. So I just took a variety of photos. And she was being... Sometimes she likes to ham it up big time. And I'm not sure which one I like better, so I'm just going to do both. This photo right here was very serendipitous in that as I was walking by my daughter, I could hear that because these stairs go down and then there's some other stairs that come up. I could tell that she was walking up. And so I tried to stand there and get a picture of her, but my camera was set. My ISO wasn't set high enough, so it was a little blurry. And trying to decide if I want one of these. I kind of like that there is some movement, but I don't think that I will choose one of these. All right, so this is her then making her bed. And I think actually I was talking to her and saying, hey, do you want to walk back up the stairs? Just kind of joking with her. Let's see. So when I don't do, I think I will exit out of that one. When I don't reject something, I'm just not entirely sure, and so I will leave it. Like the action there. I even like that one, so I think I'll do both. And then as I was walking out, I kind of saw like all of her cheer stuff in the corner, so I took a picture of that. So I'll probably just highlight that because I think it's fun. This will probably not go into the collage, but I love the idea of having this for the future. Like this is what she was into right now, and this is what she was doing. This is just outside the bathroom door. I thought that kind of looked cool with the light. I'll probably delete that one there. My kids were making pancakes. So when I took this photo, this is what I ended up doing. I just sat the camera right on top of the countertop, and then I just was pushing the button every few seconds. And these are the photos that I came up with. So I really wanted to get some action there. So I was just snapping away when they were making these. And then probably not that one. So this is what I do. I just go through and I choose the ones that I like the best, and then I delete the ones that I I don't like, or that are blurry, or that didn't work out. And you can see how I'm kind of like looking through all of them to kind of get an idea. I'll delete that one. I like that one. I kind of like these ones that are a little bit farther, but I can't see what his face looks like. And sometimes he has like silly faces. So I'm going to go up close. See that? A little silly. I don't mind it. I'm just curious what it looks like. That's the one I'm going to choose. I'll probably delete that one. And keep in mind, I'm just bouncing back from G to D. All right, so I'm taking a self-portrait here. That one is not focused. Kind of like that one. And this one, when I was standing there, I realized I could see my husband. I was trying to get us both. I wish I had moved. If I had moved this a little bit more, I'd probably be able to get his face. So I don't love it as much because it's not his face, but I probably will save one of those. And I'm trying to see if I am looking at my face here. I look very serious there. So I'm going to delete that one. All right. And because I didn't think that I would like this, I decided to do another self-portrait. I really liked that dress. So I like these. So these are things that I probably will use for other things. And that's one of the reasons why I like doing self-portraits, is so I have photos of myself that I can use if I want to tell a certain story. It doesn't have to be tied exactly to this moment or this day. So I do like these. And I liked this where my husband walked up. So I kind of like that, where he's like checking his watch. I think I'm looking at him. This one I'm looking forward, but I think I'm looking at him in all the other ones. So I'm going to save this just in case. And then I'll probably delete that one. Excuse me. All right. And I like how animated these are. He was telling a story. And at this moment, I can't remember what the story was about. And I'm deleting this because it's focused on all this stuff, and I really want it to be focused on at least one of them. And they are pretty dark, but I will show you how I edit them. And then one of my daughter, delete that one. I normally like up closest one. I don't know if I should. I'm going to do this one because the keys are kind of going down. Let's see. Choose that one. I love these ones in the car. I don't know. I just really kind of loved the color. We were talking and I set it on his dash. And so, and like I mentioned, I kind of like these for other things, but also like I could just use this part also if I wanted, you know, like later, probably not for the collage, but another time. And he's really cut off, but I kind of like it. Like that one too. It was kind of hard because he was talking. So, all right, I took one of that. Now, this is a good example. So we are at kind of a brunch, I guess, because we were on our way to a funeral. So he grabbed my hand and we were talking. And it's so interesting this day. I'm not going to go into it, but he kind of had I don't know, just some work stuff. His heart got broken a little bit. He really wanted something and lost it. So I don't know. We were just in this like in-depth conversation about the future. There's a lot of changes going on, I feel like. And he grabbed my hand. And as he grabbed my hand, I thought, this would probably be a really cool picture. So I grabbed my camera out of my bag and I set it on the table. Now, he's actually really good about me taking photos because I've been doing this for 9 years. And so when the 12th comes up, he's really patient. And the same with Week in the Life. He's really patient about me like getting really into it and taking my pictures and, you know, being patient when I walk and then I stop and I do other things. So he was fine with me doing this. So I set up my camera and then, you know, I took this picture and I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's a little too close. So I tried it again and I got these ones that are far away. But if you look up closely, I'm actually focused on my body and not on her hands. So I don't like the story that this is telling as much. So I'm probably just going to go with the one that's close up instead of the one that's far away. I think I would have preferred maybe getting a little farther crop, but I want the focus, so I'm going to go with that. All right, so I want that one. Probably delete that. That is a bad picture of that tree right in the middle. And let's see. So in order to get in here, I had to dump my camera. So I couldn't take any other pictures except for before and after. And then I took some of us walking, which I don't really love any of these, to be honest. Those aren't focused. I might just leave those. Our feet. I think I thought I liked this better than what I think it looks right now. You guys, it was such a warm day. I couldn't believe it. And then I tried to take some of us walking, but that doesn't really translate. I don't really like it. One of the city, I'll probably keep that. We got home. The seniors were there. This is going to be hard to see. So I'm going back. I went to the develop module, but like I said, you can hit E. And then I'm just going to go through these. They were planning their senior trip. And I kind of like that one, even though he's looking at me. Let's see. That's not bad. Okay. Then I think I will say this. I took this to just kind of show that there is no snow, which is, I have not experienced no snow in January in years. My husband was doing some work in the yard, which I think is so interesting for January again. I think I like that one, maybe that one. Delete that. I delete that one also. And then I look over and the kids were like, what are you doing? So I took a picture of them. Oh, and then the puppy. Now, a word about the exposure in this. So I think my camera was exposing for this dark wall, and I will show you how I can fix that. One other thing to keep in mind, I take all my pictures on RAW so that I'm able to, I like that one, so that I'm able to make a lot more adjustments than you normally could with a JPEG. All right, so then this is Megan. I'm gonna delete some of these. Let's see. She was dancing to the music. I kind of like this one because it's blurry. Delete some of these. All right, then I did an overnighter. Delete. These, I'm not sure they got exposed. Awesome. I had my settings wrong and I didn't even look. Like, honestly, it was not good. The ones at the bottom, I kind of looked through them a little bit. I kind of like both of these. I'm also thinking like this one might be a good square. So that's kind of, let's see. I want one of those. I also like some shots where you get some action. And like I said, I also too have some major overexposure. These are overexposed, but I will show you how I can fix that. Let's see, which one did I choose there? All right, you guys, now that I've got my my favorite photos from the day picked, I am going to, or actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come down to where it says filters here, and I'm going to click on this flag that has the X on it. So it's going to show me all the ones that I want to delete. And I'm going to Control or Command A, and I'm going to highlight all of them, and I'm going to delete. And it's going to ask me if I want to remove them or if I want to delete from the disk. So if I just remove these photos, they're just going to be removed from Lightroom, but they're still going to be on my hard drive. If I delete them from the disk, they're going to be deleted off of Lightroom, and they're also going to be deleted off of my hard drive. It does that does both. So this is permanent. This is not permanent. If I just removed it, I would be able to upload it again. And if I, delete from disk, they are permanently deleted. So definitely think about that. I'm looking at this photo right here. No, I'm going to keep deleting it. So hit delete again. And I'm going to delete from disk. I never remove it. I always delete everything, and I never get up, freak out about it. I just do it. Then I'm going to click on, I could do it here or here, depending on if it's showing up or not. Click on this up here, and I'm going to get back just my photos that have flags and my photos without flags. So now I'm going to click on the flag, or I could do it down here as well. And this is just going to pull the photos that I flagged or the photos that I liked the best. And these are the photos that I'm going to edit. I definitely want to edit all of them. But before I do that, I'm going to go through one more time and look at the photos that I potentially want to use for the collage. And I'm going to hit 5. So if I hit a 5, let's say on this photo, and I hit a 5, you can see that 5 stars are at the bottom here. And that means I can filter down more. So you can see if I come up here and I click on the 5 stars, or I can do it down here, click on the 5 stars. And I could also adjust this where I can make it equal to, so all of the photos that are equal to the 5, or all of the photos that are less than 5. So if it had 4 stars, it would show up, or everything that is greater than 5. So because I'm only going to use 5, it kind of doesn't really matter, but I'm going to just hit 5. So all of the photos that have a 5 on it, and then if I want to get back out of it, I can just click on the 5 again, click on it again. So I'm going to hit 0 because I don't think I want this one in the collage. I'm not sure. Couple things that I think about when I do this is I think about people. I love people to be able to show up at least once, if at all possible. Sometimes it really isn't possible to have them show up at all once. I do like to have some other things in the photo or some other things in the collage as well. Let's say like flowers or something like that, something else that kind of represents the day. Sometimes it's just full of people, and sometimes there are very few people. So it really does depend on the day, but I like to at least have one of everyone if I can. I might not be able to, but we'll just have to see. This is something that I do like, but it's not necessarily essential. If I have space, it might fit in, but if not, I'll probably leave it out. So you can see down here, I just want to show you that out of 153 photos, so I deleted quite a bit, or, you know, I deleted maybe 60 or 70 photos. There's 62 that I flagged. So I have 62 that I need to whittle down to 12. So I'm only going to choose 12 photos and I have 62 to pick from. So that's what I mean. These may not, you know, fit in. I really liked these ones here, so I'll probably choose this one. Oh, that was a color I did. Sorry. Different numbers will do different colors. There's a lot, like down here you can see these colors. Oh, it doesn't have any to match. But you can see that you can make something a color. Let's say I'll just click on 8 and it makes it green. And if I click 8 again, it'll make it back to no color. So 1 through 5 does the stars and 6 through 9 does the colors that you can see here. So just however it works for you to filter the photos, that's how I would suggest doing it. I like to do the stars, so that's why I just hit 5. I rarely do more than or less than 5. All right, so I like that one. I like this one as well. I like that one. I like that one. I'm like feeling like I've already exceeded my what I'm able to do. I kind of want one of these, but I'm not sure which one. I think if I did a square here, it would maybe cut me off. Same with that one. That might work. I'm going to hit both to just kind of see. I do like that one. I clicked on this one because I like, you know, if it fit in. This is not going to fit in, but knowing like where we were, kind of like that idea. Let's see. I definitely like the ones with the seniors. I think I'll do that one. I can click on 5 again, or 0 if I want to have no rating. So that's no rating. I think I'll do this, the 5. Oh, I did 4, 5, and then one of Bella playing, maybe. I like that one too. Okay. So now that I've, I didn't do any of, oh, I did do that one. I think I want the one that's closer up, just knowing that it's going to be in a collage. And sometimes I will end up doing more. And if I, like for instance, let's just go down here and let's filter the stars. I've got 22 photos. So I definitely have to choose from the 22 photos. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit all of these photos. So I'm going to come over to the develop module. You could hit G or D and it will take you over to the develop module. And that way you're going to have, you know, all this edit information. There's so much that you can edit right here in Lightroom. I never go to Photoshop unless I'm adding type to a photo. So there's a couple things I want to do with this photo, and there's a couple things that I do every time. I will always up the exposure. Not always. Sometimes it doesn't need it, like those ones at the bottom, they definitely don't need it. Usually I will up the contrast some, depending on what's going on with the light, maybe the shadows, maybe bring down the highlights. So I'm bringing down the highlights. You can see I'm bringing back some of the detail or the whites. You can see right up in this area how much it's changing as I'm changing the whites there. Another thing that really bothers me is this wall is white. This is all white. And what I'm seeing here is like a pink color, right? Because of the lights. So one of the things that you can do is you can take this little picker. You want to target right here. You can see in that box at the top of the box, it says pick a target that's neutral. So you could do black, like her black pants, or you could do white. You want to make sure whatever it is definitely black, or it's definitely white, or it's definitely like a gray. This is also very neutral. So I'm going to click on this and you can see now how it turned the photo where the walls actually look white. So if you want, you can choose to come over here to where it says temperature, and I'm just right underneath the basic. If your basic isn't open, just click on the triangle here. You can make it a little bit more yellow or less yellow, however you want it. Whoops. So that's one way to do it. Another way you could do it is come up here to white balance, and this tungsten, you could click on that, because I'm thinking that that's good for like overhead lighting, like maybe, no, this is fluorescent. I don't really see that tungsten didn't really work well. So I'm just going to continue what I had done and do this. And I like the way that looks. I might add just a titch of yellow, because I know, it can't just be, I mean, I know that there is some yellow in the photo. And I think at this point I might add a little bit more contrast here, or exposure and contrast. Now, I've had people ask me if I use presets. So these are some of the presets that I use. These are ones that I've edited over time that have come from some of these. So this Visco Film 01 for Canon, I use some of these to do some black and whites. And some of my favorites are this Kodak Portra 800. Any of these I like pretty much. And these HP5. So I like those ones. And then these ones from Lily Blue, I bought, my gosh, 2008 maybe. So I've had these in here a long time and I don't really use them very much, but this is the one that I kind of started using a lot because it was just a very basic, it just felt very basic. And so I adjusted it and made it my own. So if I'm going to, this photo's highlighted, so I'm going to control apostrophe and it's going to add another photo here. It's going to duplicate this photo. So I'm going to click on this photo and I'm just going to show you, I'm going to click on this preset here and you can see that it changes it because my preset is not supposed to change the color here, but you can see that it changes this a little bit. And I could also change the color back this way. So you can see it's pretty close, but I have upped the exposure a little bit, or I've upped the shadows. Another thing I could do here, I probably won't do, is you could click on like this noise. This is how I remember it, but it is a small amount of noise, which is taking a little bit of the noise out. But you can still see in the background here, maybe you can't. There's still some noise actually in the photo. So I'm going to leave it as that. Then I'm just going to go to the next one. And this is what I'm going to continue to do. I'll probably click on this just to give me a place to start. Now you can see that didn't make that much of a difference. I'm going to Control or Command Z so you can see it just made it pop just slightly. I might add a little bit more. I might add a little bit more to the shadows there. And then definitely these highlights are so big right here. I want to bring it way down. And maybe I need to do that with the white as well. So a lot of this is just like me trying to figure it out and like making adjustments. Oh, and I can click on that noise again if I want to do that. And then I will come up to the next one. This is just what I do. I just go through all of them, make some adjustments where I feel like I want to see it. I might bring the exposure down just slightly and then move on. Now this is the same thing. It's got some yellow in it. So these tiles are white. And it's a little blue, so I'm going to make it just a little bit more. And because of that, I can up the exposure. For whatever reason, when you change the color, sometimes you can take a little bit more exposure than before. Okay. Now, these photos I took in the very exact same place. So instead of having to edit them both, I'm going to control or hit control and then click on the photo right next to it. I'm going to come over to sync, and it's going to sync. Pop up what in the other screens. Let me show you. I can sync all of these adjustments, and I usually sync all the adjustments except for the crop and a spot removal. So I'm just going to synchronize, and you can see that that photo then adjusted. I feel like that is just a little bright, which means, I would say it doesn't look bright there, but that's just a little brighter because of the way the photo was, or the light was hitting me. I think that's okay. And then do the same thing. Now this one this is off just slightly, so I'm going to adjust it. So I hit crop here. And I'm going to make sure it's on the original because I want it to be the same. And then I'm just going to adjust it until it's in line with that. Moved it over slightly and then hit enter. So I like that a little bit better. And the lighting was not good here. I'm going to add just a little bit more there. And you can see, like, look at how far I can go. That's what's so great about using raw. And I do want the blacks to be a little bit blacker. So I'm going to bring that down some there. And I think I want to crop that off. So I'm just going to come up from the bottom and just crop that off there. All right, I really liked the light on this. I'm just adjusting it slightly. Because these are the same, I'm going to command click, hit sync, synchronize, and then these are just going to adjust the same. I think that's pretty good. You can see what a slight difference it is, but it is definitely a difference. I could choose to make this straight, like crop it so it's straight, you know, do this, but I kind of like it off, so I'm going to leave it that way. And I'm going to bring back this exposure just a little bit. And I want to crop this as well. Or not necessarily crop it, but kind of adjust. I could bring it down and make it a little bit tighter. But I think because I want it square, I want to get as many people in, and she might even be cropped off. Or one of the things that I might do with this photo is it might not even go in the week. It might not. I could just print it off and put it in my project life instead of the collage, or I have in the past done both. So you can see here, look right here where the light is. You can see as I bring down the highlights, you can see that I am getting more detail out of the photo. And because these guys in the front are pretty dark, I'm just going to up the shadows slightly. I don't want to add too much light to the back. So that's good. That's good. Now this one didn't, I mean, it's not exposed awesome because the grass is so not great, but I can show you same thing. If you double click on the word, it'll bring it back to 0. So you can see that I, instead of having it be, you know, exposed more, I'm going to just bring it down. That I kind of like there. And I want to make these right here seem a little bit more straight. So I do like that photo. I think it's pretty cute. And I want this to be, I want it to pop, I don't know, pop a little bit. I want it to be a little bit more yellow maybe. I feel like something is flat. Something is not. Can't decide. I'm definitely not liking that. So I just double tapped on that temp and then it brought it back to the original. All right, so these ones right here are total, like this is totally overexposed. So let me deal with this one first because it's definitely overexposed there. So I don't need any more exposure. And I also, I think this is white right here. So you can see how it changed that. And I'm going to add some shadows. Maybe I'll add a little bit here. This isn't a great photo, so I probably won't be using it. I kind of like it though. I just cropped it a little bit because I'm thinking of a square right here. But I don't like, I wish it was focused on them and that the background wasn't. But one of the things that I had realized is my camera, I adjusted some of my settings without realizing I like bumped something. And so I wasn't able to get, these guys weren't as blurry as I had hoped. But that's just my fault there. Sometimes you win and you lose. So because of the coloring here, I'm clicking on, and I'm going to shift click so I can get all of these photos in, and I'm going to sync it. And I'm really just syncing it for the color to see like how it changes. So I like this. It's not blue, but it's not the same yellow. And then I think that's good. Not even needing to add exposure there. Maybe I'll add just a little. Bring down the whites. Add a little bit more black. This one, I'm going to add maybe a little bit more yellow to make it real. I don't like this photo, even though I like this photo. I don't think it'll make it in. This one is too bright here. Some photos, though, you don't really have the option to save because you've just, when some photos, you may have blown out the detail and you can't save it. You can't bring it back. Here, I don't think it is because based on the histogram, it's not looking like I did. Oh wait, no, this is the whites. So I can click on here and it will show me where the whites are being clipped. I guess I should show you that. Maybe I'll go back. Let me go back to this. So you can see when I click on this arrow here, it's showing me this is where all, if I were to print this, it's just going to be pure white. There's no color. There's no detail in here at all. So that's why when I bring down the detail, as you can see, that I get to this point and there's detail in this area. It's no longer clipped. And a lot of people just stop there, but I want to bring it down just a little bit more. And I think I'll just do the exposure. Bring it down slightly. Because that, yeah, like I said, I overexposed it. Now I'll click on this one. And I can expose this just a little bit more. I'm going to crop it to adjust for this right here. And I hope they'll be okay square. You can see it looks a lot really yellow because of all the wood. And okay, that's what I'm going to do. That's my editing done. Okay. So now what I do is I put it into a collage. So I don't think I've made a collage yet. So this is actually a new catalog for me, because my other catalog is 2014 through 2017. I felt like it was a little too big. It had over 20,000 photos. So I thought I would start a new catalog. So this is a new catalog, and I'll probably go through 2020 or 2021. Just kind of depends how I'm feeling at the time. And so some of the things I had to redo and some not. So we'll see. I haven't gone into, oh, maybe the print, everything's still there in the print. We'll have to see. So I'll take these files, and this is what I end up doing. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to click on the ones that I like, the ones that I really want in there. I'm not sure. Like if I do this one, I might not need to do that one. We don't need that many of us, right? I don't know. Okay, so that's 20. Is that, oh, I selected 14. So there's 23 out of 153 that I've filtered. And then I've selected 14. So that's not bad. That's not bad. So I only have to get rid of 2. So I've got these highlighted. And what I do is I come down to my collections. And I am going to make a collection of my 12 of 12. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click on New Collection. And I'm going to hit Create Collection Set. And I'm going to call it 12 of 12. And I'm going to put it inside, well, I was going to put it inside 2018. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cancel this. Oh, I should have just left it. Create Collection Set, 2018. And I'm going to hit Create. So you can see that now I have a collection set that's 2018 because I want everything that I do this year to be under this set. Now I can click, oh shoot, let me just back out of that, Control Z, because I want these photos highlighted still, and I lost my highlights, so I'm gonna have to go through it again. All right, so let me just go through this one more time. I'm sorry, you guys, I don't even know if I'll remember what I did here. I kind of want those guys. I do that. I think I missed a couple because it's only, oh, now it's 14. Okay. All right. So I wanted these highlighted and I'll show you why in just a second. So I've got this 2018 collection. Now I'm going to hit plus and I want to do another collection set because this one's going to be the 12 of 12 collection set. And I want it to go inside my 2018. If that didn't pull up, you could just scroll down, but there's my 2018. I'm going to hit create. So now underneath my 2018 is my 12 of 12. So now I'm going to hit add again. And this time I'm just going to do a create collection and I'm going to do, I always do the number first because instead of filtering or sorting by the alphabet, I want it to sort by the number. So I always do 1_ January, and I'll probably just do it like this. Now I want it to be inside the 12 of 12, and I want it to include the selected photos. So I want these photos to jump into this collection, and I'm going to hit create. And now you can see inside my 2018 collection is a 12 of 12 collection, and this is where I will put all of my months down here. And then inside that is my January collection. You can see I've got the 14 photos that I chose, and those 14 photos are here. I'm just going to do Control D because I don't want to highlight any of those photos. All right, so at this point, if I want, I could take off the filters because it doesn't really matter because it's just showing me these 14 photos. Okay. Now I want to add these into the collage. So I'm going to come over here to print, to the print module. And you can see that I still have all of my presets. So these are my presets. These are some for Project Life. You can see it's telling me that it's going to add photos into here if I've selected the photo, but I want to actually just do the whole film strip. So I'm going to make that change there, and you can see that I can adjust. These are for Project Life printing. I'm going to come to this 12 by 12, and this is the print that I want to make. And I just want to show you some of you know, the layout and the page and things like that. So let's go to layout. And under the layout, I've got 0 margins. This is actually a 12 by 12. So if I was going to set this up, I'm sorry, this is an 8 by 10. I want it to be 8 by 10. I want it to be borderless. That way there's no border here. I want it to be landscape. And I'm going to click OK. And you might want to click on your printer. You can see I have my Epson Artisan is where I'd be printing it. And you click OK. So this is the setup. Now, in order to have it the way I do, you want your rows to be 3, so 3 rows, and then you want 4 columns. Okay, so that makes your 12 photos, and then you can add as much space to your cells as possible. Now, keep in mind, these photos are not 100% square. If I hit the keep square here, these photos are now square, and you can see that the margins are not great. I could adjust the margins, so I could adjust... bring that down a little bit. I could adjust probably the bottom here. Adjust the bottom and then the horizontal. Okay, and I could keep fudging it so that these would be even, right? So I probably have to do a little bit more on the bottom. Okay, so now that looks perfect. And then I would just need to cut or crop this off when I had it printed. I really wanted to be able to just print an 8 by 10 photo, stick it in the sleeve and not worry about it. It doesn't have to be 100% square. It's not that big of a deal to me. If it is to you, you may want to do this, or you could also do another size. I'm just going to keep it at this size, or I'm going to keep it where they're not square. So I'm just going to adjust that. I could bring all this back here, but I'm just going to then go ahead and click on this. So once you got it the way you want, if you want to save the preset like I've done here, you just click on this create new preset plus sign, and then you put it in the folder you want, which is right here. I named mine AG, and then you can name it and hit create, and then it will show up here, and then you can use it every time you have a 12 by 12, or excuse me, every time the project rolls around every month. All right, so the photos are just going in place based on how I've brought them in. I can choose to adjust that the best way that I can. One thing that I'm looking at this and not really loving is this just seems like too much detail. And so sometimes I care about that and sometimes I don't. Right now, I'm just going to move it to the very edge because I'm not 100% sure. So I'm kind of moving it out of place. This photo right here, I think I want it to be a little bit yellower. I think this looks a little unnatural. So I just added there's some warmth to the temperature. Go back to my print module. Okay, I like that a little bit better and I kind of don't. I don't know. It's possible I may take this one down a little bit. So you can see I just kind of adjust things by how they're looking also together in this collage. I think one of the things I could split these up. So not all one color is in the same place. Thinking I might get rid of that one too. We'll see. I don't like these ones on top of each other, but I know I'm not going to like these ones on top of each other because it's the same person. And, you know, I might get rid of this one, actually. We'll see. Let me move this out. This is throwing me off slightly. I might come in here and crop this down a little bit more, so it's a little bit tighter on them. Let's see. So I like that a little bit more because you're getting a little bit more of the detail there. And I want to add a little bit more warmth to this, just a little bit though. So let's see. Let's put this one back and let's see. If I had that there. And for me, also another thing is it doesn't need to be chronological for me. It needs to make sense. Like, I don't feel like it was like, okay, this happened first, then this happened, then this happened, this happened. That's not a big deal to me. I like being able to mix up the colors. Like, I don't want two of the same people on top of each other. I don't want too many blues or yellows in one place. I really like to mix it up. This photo seems a little dark to me, so I'm going to lighten it up. And sometimes I will lighten it up a little bit more than it seems necessary because it's in a collage. I think I want to do that with this one as well because it's not going to be printed out on its own, if that makes sense. And I kind of just took out a little bit more yellow there. I'm not sure how I feel about it. And I just keyed in that one because sometimes it's hard to get exactly what you want there. And I'm just guessing on the number. I'm really just like messing with the adjustments. And this is what I do. I just kind of go through until I find what I like. I find something that works, that feels good. Okay, so I'm not really loving this here. I like the photo. That's something I could add to my project life. So I'm going to get rid of that. This feels a little busy there, so I'm going to split these ones up. I don't love him dead center. Let's see. But it might just have to be that way. Okay, so I'm just adjusting this to look. All right, so you can see that photo is there. So I could choose to add in maybe another one. And I might do that, even though it feels a little busy. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to back to the folder. Because you remember I only have 14 here. So I'm going to go back to the folder. I'm going to see if maybe there's one in here that I would like to add in to, and I'm going to hit the flag because I only want to look at the ones that I have previously flagged. So let's see. Oh, I could do this one. I really do like this photo, but it just feels too busy in the collage. Or I could do the one of Lola. Maybe I'll do that. So if I want to add something down here in the collections, all I have to do is click on it and drag it. And you can see now I've got 15 photos. And then I'm back here. I do think that one's cute of her. So things that I'm looking at, I might do this one here. And these ones are not edited. So I'm going to come click on this, edit it. That looks fine. And this one is edited, right? Bring down those highlights a little bit. I just feel like the colors look a little gray there, but it's probably because it's winter. All right, back to the prints. So if I took this one out and I added this one in, I could do that. I don't necessarily love that one. Let's do this one here. I like, well, this is 2 hand pictures. So, you know what? I don't like that. I'm going to get rid of this one and I'm going to just hit remove from collection. It's going to remove it from the collection. Because this tells a story that I want to tell about the day. So I could leave that, or I can move this one over. Just feels too busy to me. So I'm going to put that in my project life. You'll see that in my project life. So these are the extra photos. You can see if you have more photos, it's going to just add collage after collage. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm not using these, I'm going to go ahead and highlight them, Control or Shift click actually, and then remove them from the collection. And now you can see over, well, I'm going to hit down on the collections. I only have 12 photos, so I've got just what I need here. I think we're good here. I think I want to add a little bit more. All right, so what I would do here is I could print it if I wanted to, just go ahead and print it right away. But I like to have this collage as is in my Lightroom. So what I do is I go down to the print job, and instead of clicking on printer, I'm going to go to JPEG file, and I'm going to print to file. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to save it as a JPEG. And I'm just going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to put in 12 of 12. And recently it's been doing this weird thing. Oh, it didn't do it this time. Okay. So it just saved it. Now it's going to save it as a JPEG onto my desktop. And then I'm going to, you can see that it's preparing the print job, but instead of sending it to a printer, it's just sending it to my desktop. So now what I'm going to do is I want to go back to my library module, or G. I could hit G for that. And I'm going to find it on my screen. So it's on my other screen. And I'm going to just drag it and drop it right into, I think this is on the collections. I think I need to go into my 12 of 12. I'm going to drag it and drop it right into it. Oh, I could have done a photo of me, but I think I have too many pictures of me in the collage anyway. So I'm going to drag it. Oh, starting to do it. Now it's going to bring up my import box. Definitely what I want to do is I want to move this photo, because here's a whole bunch of photos, but I'm going to take this 12 of 12 and I want to move it. So I want to take it off of the desktop and I want to move it into this 12 of 12 right here. So I'm going to click on the 12 of 12, and you can see that it's going to come in as January 15th because that's the day that I'm doing this on. I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to come up to right here where it says organized by, and I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to put into one folder. So it's just going to put it right into the January 12th. So it's going to take it out of the desktop and put it in here. And I'm going to go ahead and import. If I hit copy, it would make a copy of this into this folder, and it would still be sitting on my desktop. But I don't want to do that. I just want to move it. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit move. And now you can see that it's just right going to be in here at the bottom. And I just always click on it and hit P. So it's something that I can find again. And I will hit 12 of 12 also. So it's something that I can find. And then I'm going to hit F2, click, and then F2. And I will change it to 12 of 12 January. I'll do that. But I already have something that's, oh no, it's a different date. So now with this, what I tend to do is export it. So one of the things that I want to do with this as well is I want to make sure, and I want to take this and pull it into this January. So if I ever want to find this collage again really easily, I can just find it in my collections. You can also make a collection that just says, you know, that's collages for the year. And in fact, I can do that right now. Create collection. I can just hit collage, and it's going to be inside the 12 of 12. I'm going to include the selected photo, which is that one. You can see now I've got one in there, and then I can just populate it as the year goes on. Okay, but what do I do now with this photo now that I've got it in a picture form? Well, I want to export it. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to hit Export. And I have a whole bunch of different exports. But the one that I want to do is the one that I've set up, and it is, well, I have a print one. So I have an 8x10 print. So you can see it's in my Dropbox, it's in my Project Life, and in my print. And I always do this so that I'm going to export that. So it's going to go into that folder so that I am able to print these. Like most of the time I collect like 4 of them, and then I print them, because then I can just pop them into my Project Life sleeve once they've printed, which is why they don't always show up in my Project Life. Then the other thing, I export it again, and I want to be able to use this for my Lightroom, or not my Lightroom. I want to be able to use this in my Instagram. So normally I will go down here, which is my WordPress for my blog, and oh, I have a 12 of 12 one. So you can see that I set it up for Dropbox, WordPress, blog, 12 of 12. This says 2018. So I'm going to have to change that, and I'm going to go into this file, and I'm going to make another one that says 12 of 12. And I don't know why it doesn't say 12 of 12. And I'll do underscore 2018. And I'm going to select this folder. And now it's going to put anything that I export into this folder right here. And this is the size that I have. I have the long edge. So this is the long edge here, which is the top. Or if it was a portrait style photo, the long edge would be going up and down. So it's at a 1200 pixels to 7200. So that's going to be for a screen, and that's the size that I want it for my blog. And then I'm just going to export that. So it's a small enough file. It's good enough, but small enough that I can use this on Instagram. So that's all I do. And then I can print this off and put it in my Project Life, or, you know, sky's the limit, add it to your website, Facebook, Instagram, whatever works for you. All right, you guys, so that's it. That is my complete workflow in Lightroom. Congratulations if you made it all the way through this video. You are so awesome. If you guys have any questions after watching that, please jot them down in the comment section below, or you could even email me, however is easiest for you. I will definitely get to them. I know that there were a few things that I was totally vague on. Sometimes I forget that not everyone knows how to use this program. So if you have any questions about that, or would like to see more, I'd be happy to do some more videos so that it will help answer some of those questions. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.